Today we're going to visit beautiful Red Canyon, which is an area right about 8 miles from where I live, and it's on the way to Bryce Canyon. If you've ever been to Bryce Canyon, you've been through these tunnels, more than likely, these two little tunnels that are right by Red Canyon. And I love Red Canyon because it's so much what Bryce Canyon is. If you don't want to do a whole lot of hiking, but you still want to find out what the hoodoos are like and get up and personal with them without actually going down into Bryce Canyon, then you can go to Red Canyon and you can literally hike around and see the hoodoos up close. I was riding with there's a fellow named Bohan who was riding with me the other day, and we're going to Red Canyon, and I said to him, well, he's 4 years old, and I said to him, well, why do they call it Red Canyon? And he goes, I don't know. You got to remember, he's only 4 years old. And I said, because the rocks are red, duh. And when I said duh, he laughed and laughed and laughed. And that reminds me of this other poem that I'm going to do that's actually for him. The second poem that I do on this recording is for Bohan. I made it up for him, and also he laughed and laughed and laughed at the end of that poem. By the way, my poems are copyrighted, so you have to get my permission to copy them or send them or use them. Thank you. Now, this first poem I'm doing is one that I did for Bohan, and he's a little 4-year-old, like I mentioned before, and I did this poem just to see what kind of a response he would give. He's a very, very intelligent boy, and at 4 years old he seems to understand way, way more. And I wrote this poem, and there's some pretty big words for a 4-year-old, and I decided to do this. The name of this poem is Slim's Kitten. One time Slim befriended a kitty cat, and he bought it a very nice sleeping mat. It was so small and was really quite cute, and he even made it a really nice suit. He brushed out its hair and gave it some food, and then that put this kitty into a really good mood. It followed him everywhere that he went, and that is how most of their spare time was spent. Those two then became the closest of friends, the type of friendship that never will end. Now Slim had that kitty for quite a while, and the problem is, it made no one else smile. It was really quite confusing to Slim. Most of the people seemed to be avoiding him. One day he noticed a really bad smell, and where it came from, he couldn't tell. He went next door to his closest neighbor, and he asked him, will you do me a favor? Now I want you to be honest with me. Why are all my close friends all avoiding me? His neighbor replied, are you not aware? You have to treat that animal with care. Do you think that cat came from a litter? You have to be careful with this critter. Didn't you notice it has a white stripe? That is the reason it's smelling so ripe. The whole reason that your poor kitty stunk is you befriended a small baby skunk. And when I got done with this, Bohan just started laughing and laughing and laughing, which gave me a lot of satisfaction that even a 4-year-old could enjoy a poem like this. This next poem is another one on the Slim the Cowboy series, and to be honest with you, I've kind of lost track of which one it was or what number it was, and I think from here on I'm just going to leave the number of what the poem was out. So the name of this poem is called Slim's Cow. One time Slim decided to milk a cow, and the only problem is he didn't know how. He got his lasso and went out in the herd, and he was real quiet. He didn't say a word, and it was dark, and he couldn't see very well. So he grabbed one of the cows by the tail. He dug his feet in and gave it a pull, and then he realized he had a hold of a bull. The pull turned around and threw Slim in the air, and when he landed, he became quite aware something had happened that made him shudder. He landed right next to a mama cow's udder. And in trying to get away from the bull, he gave that mama cow's teat a good pull. And that mama cow's udder was smooth as silk, and she squirted Slim's face all over with milk. Enough went in Slim's mouth that he was quite full, and then he realized he had fooled the old bull. Even though that old bull is very spry, it fell on its behind into a cow pie, and Slim saw the bull was really confused how he got away and the trick that he used. Now Slim is bragging to this very day that he knows the technique, the very way to milk a cow while out on the range. He brags, "This might sound a bit strange. I just have to give that cow's udder a pull at the very moment that I'm full of bull." Here I am in beautiful Red Canyon, and I wanted to do a video that was showing you this canyon. I've hiked up in here, and I wanted you to see the background behind me as I'm talking. I love to do this hike and love to show this off to you. So here we are. I know that I say this almost every video that I do, but I want to remind you to make sure and subscribe if you haven't and follow along. The reason I put all just scenery on this poem is because I want to take you with me on tours across the United States, and I have a plan before I die of going to every national park in the world, at least in the United States, because I have a free pass. I'm older than 62 years old, and once you turn 62 years old, you can literally get you a lifetime pass at any national park out there. So for you people who go to national parks and you're older, go get your free pass. It's only $80 for the rest of your life, if you remember, and don't lose it. I've lost mine. I bought it a year ago and lost it already. So far it's costing me $80 a year. The other thing I want to remind you about is that our nonprofit that we're doing these poems for to raise money for the nonprofits, and we're really, really grateful for all of you who have subscribed and are being involved in helping us do safe houses. Thank you very much, and God bless.